Hey everyone, I'm Bill Gagne and I am here to coach you up on how to finish your basement. In this episode, we're going to talk about how to make a smart basement. Now, if you're thinking about finishing your basement, you may want to subscribe because we're going to be talking about tips and tricks and features for finishing your basement every week. We're going to do 10-15 minutes real quick, and that'll help you along your process of trying to get to a finished basement. Now, what do I mean by smart basement? I have become super nerdy in all things smart home, all things. I got a few of them and I really like them and I think they're really cool. Now, they aren't all useful. And what we're going to go through in this video is what I have, what I like, what I don't like, what you might want to get, what you might not want to get. And the whole point is not to get these things because they're cool. I think they're cool. The point is to get them because they make your life better. And I'm going to talk about how they can do that. Now, yes, they are a little expensive depending on what you're going to get, but some of them aren't. I mean, at this point in North America, 1 in 3 homes has a smart speaker, meaning Google Home or Google Alexa. So we're on the path to that. And I think the younger and younger homeowners are, the more likely they are to be amenable to smart features. I mean, everything we do already now is on our phones. These smart home features connect to your phone. You can operate lights, thermostats, your TV, plugs, all of this from your phone. So it kind of makes sense for you to learn a little bit about them. Now, I maybe got into it last year, and I'll tell you the things that I have. So I've got 2 Google Home Minis. I live in a bungalow, so I got one upstairs and one downstairs. I've got Google Chromecast on both TVs. I have the August Smart Lock for my doors. I have the Philips Hue smart bulbs upstairs. Now, the reason I have the Philips Hue light bulbs and not switches is because my upstairs wiring is all aluminum, and using smart switches on aluminum, my electrician advised me against because it gets so hot that you could have problems with the wiring or the unit. Now, I bought some smart plugs. No, I bought one smart plug. I have somewhat of a smart thermostat. It's not a Nest. I'm a Google guy, so everything I'm trying to get is Google integrated. And I got a couple of smart switches. You don't need all of these for your basement. I mean, I love the August Smart Lock. It's one of my favorite things. My wife hates it, and I can't understand why, because it works just like a lock, but you can unlock it with your phone. You don't really need that for your basement, unless you're going to have a basement apartment and you want to know who's going in and out, or your Airbnb or whatever. I think it's cool. I really like it. I like the idea that when my kids can forget their keys, I can unlock the door for anywhere. One thing to keep in mind with a lot of these features is just because you buy, so let me go back. The mistake I made when I bought the Philips Hue lights was I just bought the lights going, hey, I got the lights, great. I didn't know that you had to buy a hub with it. The hub is like this little white box that you plug in that connects the lights to your router that connects to the internet. If you just buy the bulbs, it doesn't work that way. I similarly learned about smart switches. Now, I bought these TP Casa Link smart switches at Best Buy. I didn't do a lot of homework. I'm like, these are $20. They're smart switches. I bought them. Now, they have the hub in them. So the back of it is like this thick, like 1.5 inches thick, and it sticks out of the box. So I've got this plate on my wall, a light switch on my wall in my basement that sticks out like 3/4 of an inch from the wall. So I have to recess the box in order for it to get flush to the wall. So didn't really do my homework on that. I'm really interested in getting the Lutron and the Leviton ones, which basically replace your existing plug, and they're the same size, the Decora switches. However, you need the hub for it, right? The hub will connect all of these things to your internet, which connects it to your phone, which all of them have an app that you can operate from your phone. I will say this. The 3 things that if you're going to want to put in your basement would be a Google Home or Alexa from Amazon or whatever it is. I have a Chromecast on my TV and the smart lights. Smart bulbs, not bulbs, switches, smart switches. I'll get it right soon. One of the reasons I got them was because my 7-year-old is afraid of the dark, and he does not like going downstairs with the lights off. Now, with the smart switch, I can be upstairs doing something and then I can tell Google to turn on the lights. Like, hey, Google, turn on the basement pot lights. And Google will turn on the lights. And then he'll go down. No problems. It's great. Similarly, my family does not know how to turn off the lights. They know how to turn them on. And we don't live in a big house. We live in a 3-bedroom bungalow that's like 1,000 square feet, not even 1,000 square feet on the main floor. But in the morning when I'm getting ready to leave, I can be like, hey, Google, turn off all the lights. And I don't have to go around turning them all off. And you can put them all on a timer. So for me, even though my house is small and yes, it seems lazy that I don't want to get up and go turn off all the lights, I can just do it from my phone. If I'm watching the game up on the couch downstairs and the kids are playing video games or whatever they're doing, it's time for bed and they come up and brush their teeth, I don't have to worry about turning out the lights. Similarly, my 3-year-old, he sleeps with the bedside lamp on. So he has to fall asleep with the bedside lamp on. But the problem is when I go in to turn out the light, it wakes him up when I walk in. So a friend of mine actually told me this trick, and this is why he put it in. I can turn off the lights from the couch and it doesn't wake him up. And he sleeps just fine. So I would say the smart switches are the most useful. I have a smart plug. I think it's kind of dumb because even if you have power to the plug, right, you can turn the plug on and off. It won't turn on your TV. You'll have to go turn the TV on then. So what's the point of the plug other than to be for a light? So I have a lamp plugged into my smart plug, and then I just turn off the smart plug and on. So it's not the greatest. I would not advise getting a smart plug unless you have some type of tech system that you may need to turn off remotely from somewhere else. So I wouldn't go using it. I wouldn't spend the money on it. The smart thermostat, I do not have. I kind of have one, but it's not the greatest. I would like to get a Nest, but what are you going to need that for your basement? So what I like about the Google Home and the Chromecast is I have 2 little kids. They want to watch something on the TV. They don't know how to work the remote. They don't know how to navigate. I don't want to give them my phone to navigate to use Netflix or whatever. So they have learned to just say, hey, Google, play Netflix on Basement TV or play Paw Patrol on Basement TV. And it comes up. And if we want to pause, we say, hey, Google, pause. So I don't have to go looking for the remote, which I can't find anyways. 2 little boys seem to think it's a great toy and a lot of fun to hide the remote. And it just makes my life all that easier. Or if I'm in another room and something's on, or like, hey, I want to watch this on the TV, I just pull my phone out, change the channel, change the video, put something on. But also for me, like I'm a big hoops fan. I mean, as you can see, I'm wearing a Raptors shirt. NBA League Pass is a big thing for me. So to be able to cast my League Pass app to my TV, sitting on the couch, or tell Google that I want to watch the Raptors game or whatever, it'll call it up. So in those areas, it does make my life easier. Now, sure, the Google Home Mini or Google Home, you can find lots of them on Facebook Marketplace or Kijiji that are cheaper to use because it's not for everybody. I love it, but it's not for everybody. The smart switches are the one that are expensive. The Lutron and the Leviton ones are about 60 some bucks a piece. And if you're not handy and you got to put them in your you got to hire an electrician, you're spending anywhere from 85 to 115 bucks an hour to get an electrician in to change switches. So that's a lot of money. You really got to think, is it going to make your life that much better? For me, it does, to be able to turn off all the lights or turn them on remotely. The one thing I really like about the smart lock and the lights is I live in Canada. It's winter. I pull up to the house, got the kids, got groceries. It's dark. It's cold. The wife's not home. Doors are locked. From the car, let me go back here. The lights just went out on me. From the car, I can turn on the lights, unlock the door. I can start playing music if I want. I can put Paw Patrol on the TV right away so that when I walk in, the kids aren't totally freaking out because it's 5:30 and they haven't had a snack and it's time for dinner and I just picked them up from daycare. So in those elements, in those moments, the smart lock's 170 bucks a piece plus the hub, which is 80 bucks. You're shelling out a fair bit of dough. for these little features, and you're buying one at a time. You got a front door and you got a side door. Now you're spending $350 before tax plus the hub if you want to be able to control it from elsewhere. Now you're at 400, essentially after tax, you're close to $500. So the smart locks add up quick. The light switches, they are, to me, they're more cost effective, even though they're more expensive than the bulbs, because the bulbs will eventually burn out and you will have to replace the bulbs. Whereas the switches will not burn out. You won't have to, you don't really replace your light switches. So they make a lot more sense if you don't have aluminum wiring, if it's conducive for you to get those. I would stay away from, the TP-Link one has the hub inside it, but I find I guess it's just not as cool as the other ones. So those would be the three things I'd recommend: Google Home, Google Chromecast, and the Lutron or Leviton smart switches. Now, if you don't want to get those and cost is an issue and you want to get the cheaper ones, have at her. I'm just trying to give you my opinion on what works for me, what works for us as a family with little kids, and how it makes our life better. If you have other questions, if there's things you think I should be talking about or I should look into, or this did or did not help you, let me know. Thumbs up, thumbs down, put it in the comments. This is free. I'm doing this for free to help people. I've been doing this 15 years. There's so many people that want to finish their basement, but the cost of hiring a contractor is prohibitive. And I want to share what I've accumulated over doing 40 some basements over 15 years, how people can do it and do it on their own budget and time and have a space that they really enjoy. So if you're going to do your basement, if you're thinking about it and this helps, maybe think about subscribing. Leave me a note down below what you want to know about, what you don't want to know about, if this helped you, if it sucked, whatever. I want to try to get better at this too. So I want to thank you for watching. If you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, if you're listening on the podcast, great. I'm looking forward to seeing the next one, and I'll see you in the funny pages.